I might have to turn this off. Hello? Hello? Oh, this is always so challenging. Video setup is the worst. Not gonna lie. I might have to have some unflattering light, guys. Hey, Tasha. All right, the light may just be, hey, MR, I hope you're feeling better. All right. You may just have to have a little bit of unflattering light going on here, but I didn't pull out my light kit. I should have. Hey, Donna. Are you feeling better, MR? I hope you are. You poor thing. Good. I'm glad. I hate that you missed a day at Disney World. They're at Disney World and they got sick so bad. All right, I'll wait for just a couple more people to come in. I know I've announced to a bunch of people that I was doing this. If you don't know, because you didn't see the announcement, what I'm going to be talking about today is allergies. Oh, perfect. You can watch this in the car. Okay, sorry, she's talking to me. They're on their way home. They're driving. So she can actually watch this on the way home and keep herself company. Say hello to everybody for me. I'm going to talk about allergies to makeup, skincare, or irritant dermatitis, which is, I'll break it all down for you guys in a little bit, so you guys understand what I'm actually talking about, because there are differences. People don't really understand the differences. And that's kind of why I ended up doing this, because I happen to see a couple posts recently in professional other makeup artists. Oh, this might, sorry, I can't touch this, can I? Other makeup artists. So I'm in a couple professional groups and sites and things, and there were some makeup artists that posted that their clients had allergies, allergic reactions to products that they were using on them, and they kind of freaked out. Oh, good, Maria. Maria's glad, says she's glad I'm doing this. Yes, I want to, because I realized I just kind of thought people understood what that meant, what an allergy was, what a reaction was, like why is this happening, what's happening. But the way that these couple gals, and I'm not picking on them, please understand, I'm not picking on these two makeup artists. They're my peeps, they're my fellows, and I want them to know, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this. But I kind of assumed everyone understood basic like biology and health and like why things happen in your body the way that they do. And this is kind of one of those like standard things that happens to all of us, literally happens to all of us at some point in our life. And it's really not unexpected, and it's not that big of a deal. But I'm also going to be addressing this to clients, customers, people who sit in my chair or other people's chairs. I'm not only a makeup artist, but I'm actually a cosmetics formulator, and I have my own cosmetics line. And you know, people can be allergic to my stuff. People can have contact dermatitis from my stuff, and then they're gonna freak out and be like, this stuff is crap, all of it's crap. Nope, not necessarily. And so as a formulator and as a brand, I also kind of want to dispel some of the myths or the rumors or the panic about having a reaction to something. So because there's different reactions, and people tend to get a little crazy about reactions, and I'm noticing it getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I do have notes here. I have like 4 pages of notes. I won't necessarily subject you to all of those. These are actually my blog posts that I wrote today that my computer will not let me post to my website, because I really wanted to actually have that up before I did this so that I could immediately refer you back to it so that you could read everything that I wrote, which is much more succinct. And I probably am going to give you more detail, and it was very well thought out. I literally spent all day writing it, so in editing it and breaking it down and giving examples. But I'm going to get started. So we're talking about dermatitis, and dermatitis is basically a skin irritation, right? We mostly think, hey Sue, hi mama. We mostly think about, all of us, whether you're a client sitting in the chair or you're one of the makeup artists, somebody is in your chair or you're in the chair, and all of a sudden something starts burning, itching, tingling, not feeling good. right? That happens, and it happens a lot. It can happen with relative frequency. The other thing that might happen is the next day your client gets up, or you, if you're the client or customer, you get up and you have a breakout, or you have a rash, or you have redness. You know, all of a sudden you have redness where you didn't have redness before. And these things happen, and they happen really frequently. And if they haven't happened to you at some point in your life, it probably will. How many of you have that happen, that you've had a reaction to a product, whether it's an immediate reaction to a product, burning, stinging, itching, whether it's an anaphylactic reaction, or whether it was like the next day you woke up and you had a massive breakout, or you had a rash, or you had really, really red irritation on your skin. I can tell you it's happened to me, but leave me a comment if that's happened to you, if you've had a reaction to a skincare or a makeup or a cosmetic product of some sort. I can tell you that it started in my teens and 20s, where I actually was reacting to artificial fragrances. And I actually woke up one day with chemical burns on my face from fragrance. I now have, say Mary, her, everyone's had them. I now actually have to stop using, and have had to stop using, petroleum-based lip products. It seems fine on my face, but my lips, if I use something that has a petroleum wax base to it, or liquid paraffin or whatever, but petroleum based rather than say a natural oil or wax, I actually, my lips start to itch and they tingle really badly. That's bad, because that's actually a sign of a pre-anaphylactic reaction. So that's actually even worse than just like a contact dermatitis. So let's talk about this. Number one, I am not a doctor. I do not pretend to be a doctor. I am not giving you medical advice. Please do not take this as medical advice. I want you to just have some research that I have found. I will be quoting the Mayo Clinic, and I will actually leave the links, the Mayo Clinic links down below, so you can actually go and research them for yourself, because don't trust me, don't believe me, do some research for yourself. And I'm talking to my fellow pro makeup artists out here, you need to do some work in this. You need to have the knowledge of how the skin works, how the skin functions. So when you see this happening on somebody's skin while they're in your chair, you know how to handle it. You know what to do, you know what to say, you know not to panic, or you know when to say, we need to call 911, because you might have to. So I saw in some forums that I am, one was a pro forum and one was a non-pro forum. I saw two posts within a week of a professional makeup artist, and again, I'm not picking on these people at all. I did this because I want them to know. They were so panicked. One of them actually wanted to quit doing makeup. She wanted to quit her job over this because she was so upset that she felt she harmed her client. Like, we care about you guys. If you sit in our chair, we care. We care about what we do. We don't ever want to hurt you or cause harm. But she was so upset because her client reacted to one of the products. They contacted them the next day and they said, I'm sorry, we had some sort of a reaction, so we're not going to hire you. And she was devastated. She was devastated not just because she didn't get hired for the job, though that's a big loss of money. This is how we make our living. But she was really devastated because her client was disappointed and now had a medical issue that she felt she caused. And she basically blamed herself for this. And I'm going to read a little bit from my notes, that I am just so surprised at how many people don't understand that product contraindications is completely normal, that it happens all the time. It feels abnormal because, you're waking up with an itchy, rashy mess on your face, or you're breaking out in pimples, and it feels terrible, but it's not something that somebody did to you. As a makeup artist, you didn't cause this to your client. And as a client, you did nothing to cause this, clearly. There's no fault really involved, unless, and this is to you makeup artists, and actually clients, you need to pay attention and listen to this too. If you have been very clear that you are an allergic to an ingredient, or to not just a general product, you know what you're allergic to, and you say, I'm allergic to this ingredient, and the makeup artist still uses it on you, or makeup artist, if you use it on your client, you're culpable. That is fault, okay? That you cannot erase that. If they told you they were allergic, you used it on them anyway, or you weren't aware, you didn't do your due diligence, then you are at fault. But, and this is where this is where we have to get into a little bit. I'm going to talk to some of the clients and the lay people, you people who are not makeup artists that are watching me right now or will watch you in the replay. You have some culpability as well. If you sit in our chair, and we hear it all the time, one of the first things, and if any of you out there have had a makeover with me, you know, one of the first things I ask you is, do you have any allergies to anything? And I actually followed up and say foods and medications too, because I understand there's a lot of crossover between foods, medications, cosmetics. They can all have a lot of crossover. And if you say, oh, I have really sensitive skin, and I tend to get a rash a lot from some stuff, but I don't really know what. Okay, how am I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know what I can and cannot use on you if you have no idea what you even react to? I can tell you, and I try to talk my clients through it, that the typical thing is fragrance. I mean, that's number one. The other one is solvents and alcohols. Those are really, really common in skincare too, and you'll see that listed in the Mayo Clinic links that I put in the bottom of this videos. They list the common irritants, and alcohol and solvents are two of them, and they're so common in cosmetics products and skincare products that, they're almost ubiquitous in skincare products and all that. And so is fragrance. So you need to be aware of that. But clients, you need to do some due diligence, and you need to understand, if I'm reacting to stuff in cosmetics, why am I reacting to it? And I told this makeup artist, I gave her some advice of my, what I said. My response to her was, I said, I'm going to read it actually. I said, people can be allergic to anything at any time. Even if they've used it 100 times, by 101, their body has built up enough histamine in response to said ingredient or product to create an allergic reaction. An allergy to something by a client is never our fault unless we use something that contains a known and expressed verbally by the client allergy component. I.e., so I'll give you an example. If they tell you they have a latex allergy and you still use a latex-based lash glue on them, clearly, the makeup artist is culpable in this. But clients need to know and understand what they're allergic to. So what I told the first girl was to be nice to her client. I said, so that you can give her good customer service and just be a good person to her, you need to send her back the ingredients list, or the ingredients that you used on her face that she broke out to, so that she can go and she can look up those ingredients and she can do a cross-referencing. And it really helps if you also know something else you've had an allergic reaction to, and look up their ingredients list. And you need to check them side by side, and you need to start saying, well, oh, there's alcohol in this. Oh, there's alcohol in this. Okay, let me write that down. That's potentially one of the things that I'm allergic to. And you need to start going down your ingredients list and seeing what commonalities there are in the products you've reacted to, and that's going to help you start to narrow down, what are you reacting to. Am I reacting to fragrance? Am I reacting to alcohol? Am I reacting to, it can be anything. There can be proteins that protein allergies are very, very common. I mean, that's people who are allergic to, well, not casein, if you're allergic to protein, there's all kinds of things. So you can be allergic to all kinds of things. But you need to start narrowing that down, so that you can kind of find a commonality and do an elimination. That's the next thing you need to do. You need to do an elimination and figure out, oh, if I get rid of, this product doesn't have this. That's what you need to start doing. You need to start figuring out for yourself, because your makeup artists and the people who are working on your skin, your estheticians, anyone you're going to for skincare or makeup or any kind of cosmetics, even the girls at Ulta and Sephora, you want them to recommend products to you. Well, they can't. If you're sensitive to something, you're going to keep buying this product and having a reaction, and this product and having a reaction, and this product. You need to know what you have so you can check labels, right? It's very important to be able to check labels so you can stop that, because it's really, really irritating and nobody wants it. Plus, we want our skin to look good and we want it to feel good. So now I'm going to talk about the second instance that happened with the other makeup artist. And she had written that I've been using this product, and I won't say what product and whatever, for about 9 months, I think, or something. I've been using it for many, many months, and I had no issue with it at all. And then I put it on my client, and she had a horrible reaction to it. Oh my God, this product is terrible. It said it was good for all skin types, which is completely irrelevant to this conversation. They said it was, good for sensitive skin. again, really irrelevant to this conversation, because when they say that it's good for sensitive skin, really all that it means is it probably does not contain any of the most well-known irritants like alcohols, solvents, fragrance, but that doesn't mean it doesn't contain something that's irritating to that person. You can't ever know for sure what somebody is reactive to when they're sitting in your chair, unless they know and they've narrowed it down and they've figured out, oh, this is what I'm allergic to. I can't have blah in my makeup. And again, like I said, mine is fragrances and artificial fragrances, and I cannot use petroleum products, on whether it's liquid or wax, on my lips, but I can use it on my face. Like I put Embryolisse, which has mineral oil in it, and I put it on my face. I don't use mineral oil very much for other reasons, actually because of its purification, the solvents left over in its purification process, whether it's the alkalis or the acids. But yeah, so we'll talk about that. But here's what I'm going to tell you about automatically assuming the product is at fault, that it's a bad product. The product failed. The product didn't do what it said it was going to do. Okay, I have seen that kind of talk take down a brand. Who's seen it? Who's seen it out here? Who's watching? Who's seen that kind of talk? This brand is destroyed because its reputation is ruined online because somebody's like, oh, it made me break out. I didn't like it. Don't use it. And that gets legs, and all of a sudden that gets some traction, and all of a sudden everybody hates this brand. Oh my God. Or ingredients, right? We saw it with, what's that preservative? I'm sorry, my brain's like dead. It's not one that I use. I actually won't use the preservative because I have a naturally sourced cosmetics line, and nobody would buy it if I had it. You all know the preservative. Said it was in breast cancer. There was only one study that was ever done actually that even proved that, and it was never repeatable, and it's never been repeated. But anyway, well, we can talk about that another time. We can talk about preservatives. Preservatives is a big pet peeve of mine, and a big whatever, because whatever. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, I've seen that kind of rumor and that kind of, oh, this product is terrible, take down a brand. And honestly, as a product brand owner and formulator, I find that really disturbing, because you can be allergic to my stuff, my Fortunate Face Minerals. You can be allergic to it. I've had a friend or two that is sensitive to it. Zinc is one of the ingredients in my products, and I have a friend who has a zinc sensitivity. Like, she can't wear my products. There's nothing she can do about it. She can't wear it, and that's okay. I actually have a sensitive skin base where I remove the zinc from it, and I remove a couple other of the more drying products like kale and clay and whatever. So I've had people successfully able to use that, but people can be allergic to anything at any time. You can have used it 4,000 times, and 4,001 your body says, nope, no more, bye. Now, let's talk about the difference though, because here there is a difference between an actual allergy and just like a contact dermatitis, right? They're not the same thing. They can overlap, and you can mistake one for the other. Particularly in allergy, it's very easy to be mistaken for contact dermatitis. But a contact dermatitis can really have some scary reactions. And I think that's why people get really, really concerned about it. Clearly, nobody likes to break out. Nobody likes to feel itchy. Usually the reactions are very mild and they go away very, very quickly. Sometimes just you get a little red and you remove the product. You gently cleanse the face with like a micellar water. And then I will usually wet some cotton pads with just some cool water, and you put it on it to tone down the reaction. And then clearly you don't use that product again, and you avoid occlusives over the top of it, which can actually trap that product further against the skin, right? And actually cause further reaction, because you've now literally occluded it up and pressed it right up against the skin, and you've trapped it there against the skin where it's causing a reaction. So you do have to be aware of like how to remove it and how to neutralize any kind of reaction that people are having. But it can look pretty scary. So it can be mild, rashy, a little pimply, a little breakouts, a little itching, a little whatever, a little red, or it can be, and this is just a contact dermatitis, can actually be pustules, leaking, oozing. I mean, it can be bad. It can look dire. It can look really, really bad, and it is still just a surface irritation. Or it can be an actual allergy where you are experiencing a lot of those same things. What's different with an allergy is that the more and more exposure you have to the thing that you're sensitive to can actually increase dramatically your possibility of actually then having an anaphylactic reaction where, you know, the tongue swells, the throat swells, you know, eyes, lips, face swell. I've seen, my son is deathly allergic to bees and wasps. I have seen that reaction. It is not pretty. It's scary, actually. And you need to have a medical diagnosis of that. It can literally kill you. So you really do need to understand what's causing these issues to happen in your face. So that's allergy as opposed to irritant. The irritant is the most likely reason why. Yeah, we have to stop, and we have to stop blaming just the brand. The brand is not at fault. It's not the brand's, you know, that this client had a reaction. It's not the brand's fault. That doesn't mean the product is bad. Now, can there be bad products? Can there be poor formulation, poor preservation, you know, lack of following FDA guidelines, all those things? Absolutely. And if that's true, if that is the case, what happened with the brand, then clearly they deserve to be run out of business or, you know, fined or shut down or whatever. That does need to happen. But 90% of the time, it's simply because that person's skin reacts to that product or that ingredient. And there's hundreds of other ingredients there's hundreds of other products out there that they can use. They just can't use that one. I do kind of want to get rid of this whole ideology that you should be able to pick up any product in the store and use it and it should work flawlessly and that's it. Well, that's not reality. Reality doesn't work that way. Biology doesn't work that way. Our bodies do not work that way. You know, people have food allergies. Same way. You could be allergic to anything. I mean, you could eat shellfish for 40 years. And on 40 years in one day, what? You got a shellfish allergy. That happened to my brother-in-law. I don't think he was 40, but it happened to my brother-in-law. He ate shellfish most of his adult life. And then one day, boom, no more shellfish. It's just how it works. So let me look back at my notes too. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. I did talk about how we have a responsibility to, you know, understand our products and understand our ingredients as professional makeup artists. We do have to, here we go. And this is to clients and makeup artists. This is to all of us, because most makeup artists, we're kind of product whores too. We're probably overdoing it on our skin with exfoliation, with products, trying new products, slathering our skin all the time with these new things, you know, one after the other after the other. I mean, we know we want to try everything. And our clients ask us all the time, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? How do you like this? Have you tried this? And, you know, we feel like we want to try them all because we want to be able to give people good advice. But we cannot just slather everything on our face every other day. The other one I will tell you is the overwhelming use of actives. So actives typically mean something that is going to penetrate the skin and have some sort of effect, right? Or resurface the skin or something like that. So like alpha hydroxy and beta hydroxy acids, right? So we know about those, like retinols and glycolic acids and all that kind of stuff. Love them. They're great. What people don't understand is they're cumulative. Not sunscreen, not cumulative. Wish it was. Add SPF 50 and then you add SPF 25, you should have a 75. It doesn't work that way. You only get 50. Actives, however, are cumulative. So if you put 2% retinol on, and then you put another 5% glycolic lotion on, and then you put another, 1% something, you now have, what was that, 6%? Which is a good percent. Once you get up to 10, and then you're going to get up to, and we layer these and we use them multiple times a day without cleansing them off our skin first as well. So you have to be really, really careful with your actives. They desquamate the skin, right? Or exfoliate the skin as they break down. So skin, especially as we age, right? Skin is like a structure like this, where the skin cells are kind of like in between the collagen, blah, blah, blah. And as we get older, our skin sloughs itself off less quickly or desquamates less quickly. And then so we kind of need to use the scrubs. I know, don't talk about those scrubs. We can't do those apricot scrubs. They're too harsh. But we can do chemical or manual exfoliation. So the chemical exfoliation is things like the alpha and beta hydroxy acids. The manual exfoliation is like my Clarisonic that I use. I love my little Clarisonic, and I always use the sensitive skin head because I need my skin, everything to be gentle, 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 and I don't use it every day of the week, right? So we need to gently treat our skin gently. I also have curated an exceptionally small number of products that I use. Only one contains retinol. I don't want to overdo it on my skin because it's going to cause over exfoliation. You're going to break down your acid mantle. You're going to break down the protective structures that your skin have. You're going to allow more things to penetrate. Plus, those actives are very harsh on the skin. They just are. So when you're layering, you're not rinsing them off. You're layering more on before you go to bed. You have now put somewhere in the neighborhood of what? 15% of alpha and beta hydroxy acids all over your skin. You're halfway to a professional chemical peel. Like, that's crazy. You cannot slather that much stuff on your skin and think that you're not affecting the skin. The other thing, and then anything else you put over it has a better chance of actually penetrating the skin and causing a reaction. The other thing I will tell you is cheap products, okay? Everyone loves those dollar sheet masks. I won't touch those things. I will not put them on my face. They are loaded with alcohol. They are loaded with fragrances. I don't understand it. I'd rather pay much more money for a really good, high quality mask, put that on my face to do whatever I needed to do, whether it's moisturizing, exfoliating. I use one that's detoxifying. I can't talk tonight. And some hydrating and actually a little bit exfoliating, but it's a manual exfoliant, not a chemical exfoliant. And you know, I'll use that, but I'd pay much more money for it, do it once a week, and call it good, than put one of those dollar sheet masks on my face with God knows what all in it. So many products, so many. I tell my clients, you got to avoid alcohol on your skin. It just strips your own natural sebum off. Alcohol's a solvent, so alcohol can actually dissolve a lot of the good stuff that's on your skin is too. It's a solvent that's going to just strip that all away. So not a fan of a lot of alcohol in it. And it's usually, if it's really up high there on the ingredients list, you got to chuck that. You can't use that. You need to look for alcohol-free stuff. The Mayo Clinic thing, that was the other thing. They did talk about cosmetology as being one of the top fields that has a lot of contact with irritants, with the things that are the known irritants. Both us personally and we use them clearly, so our clients are exposed to them as well. I'll put those links down so you guys can see what to avoid. But I'm gonna tell you the top 3 things to avoid: alcohol, artificial fragrance, and the solvents. Those are the 3. If you take nothing away from that, you need to look for those in your list. And if you don't know what the solvents are, maybe I can try to put together a list of some of the common ones you're gonna find in cosmetic products, but I don't know, it's kind of hard. One of the things I will tell you is, if you seem to be a person who's reactive to products and to a lot of products, you really should go to a dermatologist. You really should go to a doctor, or maybe even an allergist, and have some testing done to figure out what you're allergic to, because you could be crossing over from like just an irritant into an actual allergic response. And it's important, because you can literally die. And nobody should die because they got their makeup done. I mean, that's idiotic. So if you are really having a lot of reactions to a lot of products, you really should see a medical professional to determine what that is and why. And then honestly, a lot of people, especially my estheticians out there, yay, thumbs up to my estheticians. If you are having issues figuring out what you can use, then I recommend seeing an esthetician, because estheticians are trained both in skin, right? Understanding and knowledge of the skin, but they're also well trained in products and ingredients. They really learn a lot about ingredients because they need to know what does what to your face. So when you come in and your skin is like this is how they can help you. And a lot of times it has to do with skin type, but they learn a lot about sensitivities and reactions. I know I learned a lot about science of the skin when I was in cosmetology school. That's what happens. That's what you learn. Plus, I was a marine biology major in college, so I kind of know some stuff. Does anybody have questions about any of this? I feel like the blog post is going to be so much clearer because I was able to order my thoughts a lot better in writing. But I like to talk because I feel like sometimes I express a little bit better in when I'm speaking, and people understand a little bit more what I'm saying when I'm speaking than writing. Plus, I like speaking better than I like writing. So, but does anybody have any questions for me about the products, about what we're talking about with the allergies, where it's contact dermatitis over like an actual allergic dermatitis? Does anyone have questions about that, or thoughts, or I know some people were saying, anyone who's new that's coming in, have you had a reaction to a product that you've put on your face, whether it's makeup or whether it's skincare? Oh, my son Devlin's watching. Hi, Devlin. I was actually talking about you. Devlin is the one who's actually definitely allergic to bees and wasps. I've given him many, many EpiPens. We've been to a lot of emergency rooms, and he has also given himself an EpiPen several times. So he understands very clearly what an anaphylactic reaction looks like and feels like, and it is not pleasant, right, Devlin? It's not a pleasant thing to have happen to you. It can be really scary. I think he was 8 the first time that he had an anaphylactic. He got stung, and he had an immediate. And that's the other thing with the allergic reactions. Sometimes they can be immediate. I talked about how a lot of times you've used something 100 times, and then the 101st you have a reaction. A lot of systemic allergies like his. You were younger than 8. How old were you? But the systemic ones like that, bees and what, like he was instantly allergic. And even the therapies for those. Do I have a recommendation for a specific brand for mask? Not necessarily in this case, because as we're talking about, if you're allergic to anything, clearly me making a recommendation isn't always that helpful, because I could be recommending something that you have an allergic reaction to, the ingredient in there. I can look for you one of the masks. Okay, I actually do have one mask that I pretty much use on anybody, and it's a very gentle moisturizing only mask. It doesn't do anything else but add moisture to the skin, and it's very soothing, and it's the Avene Thermal Moisture Mask. I will put that on. Oh, my nephew Andre's on. Hi, Andre. Kisses to you. I will put this Avene Thermal Mask on for people whose skin, especially if it's really, really dry. I had a model like 3 weeks ago on set, and her skin was just so dehydrated and dry. Those are 2 different things. She had really, really, really dry skin, and she had very, very dehydrated skin. I did 4 products, and I layered them on her skin 4 times. So dry. So this mask is amazing. I've used it on brides. I've used it on very low reactivity because it's got a really clean and small ingredient list. There's not a lot of ingredients in it. That's the thing. Okay, there's some advice. The smaller the ingredients list, typically, the less things there are in it for you to react to, right? And it's also easier to keep track of. People might call those clean products. People might call those more naturally based products, but you can be allergic to natural things too, just as much as you can be allergic to unnatural or synthetic or man-made ingredients. So it's really all about your skin and your preference. So Bobby Joe, we'll talk about, you can ask me what you want your mask to do. Do you need a hydrating mask? What kind of mask do you want? And I can help you find something that will work for you. And I can give you a sample of my mask. That's the one that I use. And I can give you a sample of my mask you can try out too and see if you like it. It's not on the website yet, but I'll give you a sample of it and you can test it out. Any other questions? I know there were a couple of people had some comments, but I was too busy talking about my point that I couldn't really answer you. So I'll go back and answer in the comments if I can. But does anyone have any other questions for me or things about that? I hope it was clear enough. I really want people to stop thinking that like this allergic reaction, oh my God, these products are terrible, I can't use it. No, calm down. That's not right for you. There's 20 other things on the shelf next to it that are probably gonna work just fine for you. And if you're sitting in my chair and I ask you if you have, allergies to anything, if I get an answer of yes, or, oh, I'm really sensitive to so many products, well, why? And if you don't know, why don't you know? You should know, you should want to know, because it's important, because you really could have an allergy that could end up being life-threatening at some point. So that's my cousin Amy. Hi, Amy. What's my opinion on tea tree oil? I love tea tree oil. I love that it's like an antifungal. I actually have some right over here next to me. It's great for nails actually too. If somebody has like a little cut or their cuticles are a little raw, like I have a lot of people that come to me that if they bite or they get a hangnail and it's torn, I love it because it can help the antimicrobial and antifungal, which is great. Tonifoil is one of the products that's actually an antifungal agent that is created from from tea tree oil. So I actually really like tea tree oil. I never recommend using, there's almost no oils like that, essential oils that you can use neat. And what neat means is straight out of the jar. I think that's one, don't quote me on that. But I really always tell people it's better to put it into a carrier oil. Yeah, never leave it. I think it's also one of the oils in thieves oil too, which is an essential oil blend that's known to be really healthy for the skin. So I love essential oils. I use, if I'm going to fragrance anything, which I do have to sometimes fragrance some of my products, not because I want the products to smell a certain way, but you actually have to, it's to hide bad smells. Aloe vera smells like dirty feet. It's not great. It's a wonderful product. I love aloe vera. It's got great skin properties, but it doesn't smell very nice. And if you use it in a decent percentage, like I think I use it in 5% in my green tea and aloe hydrating spray, and it's just yeah, it doesn't smell nice. So I have to add a little bit of, I had some rosemary hydrosol, I had some basil essential oil, a little lime essential oil, and a little orange essential oil. You put those all in and it just smells so herbaceous, and it's lovely. It smells really, really good. I get the comments on those, oh, this smells so good. Yeah, well, it's got some really good stuff in it, and it's in such a low percentage that there's no like, it's such a small amount, like it's literally like a couple drops per big batch just to mask a bad fragrance, that it's not like photosensitizing or anything like that, because citrus can sometimes be photosensitizing, and it's not photosensitizing. You mix it in with your face cream. Yeah, that's great. Just a couple drops though. Like be really, really careful. Be judicious. Less is more when it comes to essential oils always. And you know, if you're only using like a dollop of face cream, like just be careful you don't flood that. But I'm fairly certain it's one of the ones you can use neat. I think peppermint, that one, and there's one other. There's 3, and I feel like that's one of them. But again, don't quote me. I'd go research that because I can't recall off the top of my head. I'd make sure I research that before I would do it neat. And I'm talking like actual scientific research, not a multi-level marketing person's say so. Stop with that nonsense. Stop with that nonsense. You need to know that it's actual science-based advice that you're taking. Hence why I'm quoting the Mayo Clinic and not WebMD. Okay? Like, we need to make sure they're real scientists that are backing up what you're saying. And that we're not going to get into that either. One of these days I will talk about preservatives though, because I have issues with that. I have issues with that. Oh, parabens. That's the one that got a really bad rap. Still don't use them. Don't use them in my products. Don't really want them. Don't like them. My clients would never buy my stuff if my products had it in it, but parabens, that's one that got a bad rap. All right. So any more questions from anybody about makeup products, skincare products causing a reaction on your skin? Honestly, no question's a dumb question. I promise you. I hope people learned something by this, like understand. That goes with your hair color. You could have your hair color, your hairdresser puts on your hair and you've had it, you know, you've been going to them for 2 years and it's the same formula, and all of a sudden your scalp is itchy and it's, you know, bothering you, especially since, you know, they're using really heavy duty products to lift, you know, open the cuticle so they can deposit that color, or if you're getting bleached or whatever, you know, it's touching the skin on your scalp. It is doing some sort of, you know, damage or whatever to not just the hair. It's not affecting just the hair. It's also affecting the skin. So, you know, you could have allergic reaction to your hair products. It can be anything, shampoos, conditioners, name it. You can have an allergic reaction to the soap that you've used forever. You could have an allergic reaction to. But any more questions before I go? I feel like this freezes a lot because it's no scrolling. But anyway. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to try to post this as a blog again at some point. I don't know. Maybe I'll just try to post it on my page here on Facebook. It's going to be really long though, but I can't get it to post on my website. Lord knows why. But I'm going to try to see that I can post it up somewhere. And hopefully, again, you can write questions. I'll still try to answer them down below. I actually like answering questions from you guys. I really do. I enjoy it. It's fun for me. And I feel like if you guys enjoy it and get a lot out of it, then I'm happy to keep doing it. All right. All right, guys. Thank you. Again, if you have more questions, just write them down below. And I'll try to include those 2 links for the Mayo Clinic, both of the different links for you down below. All right. Bye, guys.